What really are the Sphinx? Many of us are familiar with the Great Sphinx near the Great Pyramid of Giza. However, let's first talk about the avenue of the Sphinx discovered at the Serapium of Saqqara in Egypt. What is the Serapium of Saqqara? It is a vast underground system discovered in 1850 by the French explorer Auguste Mariette near the famous Pyramid of Saqqara in Egypt. It was discovered by accident by Auguste Mariette when, after a sandstorm, he spotted the exposed head of a sphinx. That sphinx was unburied, and then it is said that hundreds of sphinx statues were uncovered, which lined an avenue to the entrance of the Serapeum underground complex at Saqqara. Interestingly, the whereabouts of most of those sphinx statues is unknown, with most of them probably falling into the hands of private collectors. There are 6 of them currently at the Louvre Museum in Paris. For a moment, let's talk about the Sphinx and what they are. This will help explain why hundreds of them lined the avenue to the entrance of the Serapeum at Saqqara. Legends of the Sphinx are part of Egyptian, Greek, and Persian mythology. They are said to ask riddles of travelers to either allow or deny access to a certain area. They also are said to be part of other earth realms, such as Hyperborea, which is believed to have existed by the ancient Greeks. They are depicted with the head of a human, a falcon, a cat, or a sheep, and the body of a lion with the wings of a falcon. They are said to have a large amount of destruction technology. Perhaps the Sphinx are guardians and protectors. Perhaps the Sphinx are located next to the thing that they are guardians of. Perhaps they keep things in and keep things out. Perhaps the Sphinx were a type of technology from Atlantis. Perhaps the Sphinx are statues that have spirits anchored into them. They have consciousness. Perhaps the Sphinx can observe multiple realities at once. Perhaps the Sphinx have observation technology, and their statue is their calling card. A similar concept to the statues with crystal eyes, which was part of Act 5, Scene 1 of this Symphony of Realities series. I spoke about those guardian statues with crystal eyes, which are a big Mandela effect for many, which make the timeline 1 billion times better. Some protect a smaller area, some protect an entire country, some protect the entire planet. They can observe reality and the timelines through their crystal eyes using a type of remote viewing. What about this statue of a scribe with crystal eyes? It was discovered at Saqqara, but its exact location is not known. Perhaps it was discovered in the Serapeum of Saqqara.
We're in the Egyptian collection in the Louvre in Paris, and we're looking at the Seated Scribe. This goes back to the Old Kingdom.
So this is more than 4,000, almost 5,000 years old. And I think what draws people to this relatively small sculpture is how lifelike it is, given how old it is.
It's painted, which adds to its lifelike quality.
And that was not unusual for ancient Egyptian sculpture, although the amount of pigment and coloration that survives here is rather unique.
With a few exceptions, the sculpture is painted limestone. The exceptions are the nipples, which are wooden dowels, and the eyes.
The eyes are incredibly lifelike.
And that's because they're made of 2 different types of stone. Crystal, which is polished on the front, and then an organic material is added to the back that function both as an adhesive but also to color the iris. And there's also an indentation carved to represent the pupil. All of this comes together to create a sense of alertness, a sense of awareness, a sense of intelligence that is quite present and collapses the 4,500 years between when the sculpture was made and today.
The Scribe of SAQQARA, yet another statue with crystal eyes, like the Sphinx, guarding and protecting and observing the timelines, perhaps using observation technology from Atlantis. Is the Scribe of SAQQARA statue with its crystal eyes a Mandela effect for you?